Is that safe for us to do right now?
Yeah, it is.
I should have probably seen where this is going, but I had no idea what happened when I was asking one of my students in my virtual facilitator training to run us through this activity called Breath of Fire. Do you want to give us a countdown and we'll try it for 10 seconds and see?
Sounds great. So three, two, one.
Oh, you something's happening. You made my fire alarm go off. No joke. No joke.
Fire!
So, yeah, while I was facilitating, the fire alarm in my building started going off, and it kind of disrupted my whole plan. The fire alarm, I think, went for about 15 minutes. So, just putting yourself into my situation, what would you have done? I mean, there's a lot of people that have paid me to train them on something, and I can't just like cut things out of my content or keep running longer. So, what should I have done? Well, I'm here today to introduce you to this concept that I call the emergency breakout room. So, let's get right into it. An emergency breakout room is kind of my secret tool to solve any emergency that happens while I'm facilitating a session on Zoom. So let's say, for example, you have a toddler and they start throwing a tantrum and just really need to come into your home office, as you can see from the stickers behind me. That has never happened to me. Or what about if you really need to use the washroom and you can't wait for your session to be over? Or what if something else happens that really needs your attention, like the fire alarm going off? What are you going to do? Well, I started using breakout rooms kind of really spontaneously in the moment to help solve these situations. So let me show you what actually happened, how I handled it during the fire alarm that I just showed you. And then we can kind of take things apart. I'll share my screen and show you how I actually did it behind the scenes. So let's have a look at what happened. Because my fire alarm is going off, which means I probably won't be able to share much, I'm going to send you to a breakout room, emergency breakout room. So give me 1 second. Okay, I have a second before it comes back. So I'll recreate some breakout rooms, and what I love for you to talk about, and we'll go back to some energizers in a second, but I would love if you have any guesses on what else makes magical human moments happen. That might be on my list. There's another 1, 2, 3, 4 things I have written down. I want to see if you can guess one and just have a quick exchange, like what else makes these magical human experiences for you. And we'll do groups of 3 or 2. So there's going to be one group of 2. And I'll send you for 5 minutes, and hopefully by then this will be figured out. All right, I will see you soon. So, as you can tell, I was quite flustered. I was not as confident as I was gonna be if I sent people to a breakout room that I actually had planned in my event flow. So this was completely off the cuff. I need to figure something out where participants feel like they're still getting value and they're continuing to work on the content rather than just staring at me being on mute, not being able to talk or give them any instructions. So the breakout room actually worked really well. The topic was how to create magical human moments in a virtual experience. So I just had them go to breakout rooms and discuss the content that we had discussed that day a little bit deeper. And the fun thing is, whenever you do a breakout room, it leads to amazing connections, new insights. It's like this this what I call Zoom's superpower to facilitate connections and create intimacy. So participants didn't really feel like they were missing out. They felt like they got a break from listening to one-directional content and being able to digest what we just talked about in conversation with some of their like-minded people. So it worked really well here. So let me actually show you how this looks like in the backend. We'll jump into Zoom and I will show you how I set this up. So I'm in Zoom right now, and the first thing that I did is, while I was coming up with the kind of question, and that's the part where I could do a lot better job of, is think ahead of time. If you are going to use an emergency breakout room, what's the debrief question that you could use? Like, is it as simple as reflect on the content that we just covered? Or what stood out to you? What did you notice? What did you kind of take notes of what we just covered? Like, you could basically just come up with these almost fill in the blank debrief questions that just focus on whatever happened the last 15 minutes. In this case, I was a bit flustered because we did just do a breakout room on the content. So I wanted them to think of, okay, what is one of the other things that we haven't covered yet about this topic? Just to have them brainstorm something and connect with each other. So if you're in Zoom, the first thing that you want to do is you want to open up the breakout rooms, which you will find at the More button down here. And let me just click the breakout rooms. And here we can see, actually I need to recreate them because not everyone was in here. As you can see, I have a happy camper and a troublemaker in here. The reason why I have them in here is because there's one other type of emergency that I wanted to talk about. And this is exactly about these troublemakers. So let's say, for example, you're hosting a workshop or a training or an experience, and there's this one person that just really needs some one-on-one time. Either it's because they're having a extremely challenging technical issue and you don't have a co-host there, so you need to give them some one-on-one tech support, or they just need to speak, you need to speak to them because you're kind of disrupting your event, your experience. Maybe they're talking too much, maybe they're asking too many unrelated questions, maybe they're just doing something that is disruptive to everyone else. And rather than having a conversation in front of everyone where everyone is watching, here's how I use the emergency breakout rooms. So when I'm assigning the breakout rooms and I'm telling everyone, okay, this is your question, you're gonna have maybe 3 minutes. So I'll set it for 3 minutes. I think in this case, I set it for 5 minutes. I also unchecked allow participants to return to the main session so they wouldn't interrupt me in the main room. So they actually had to wait until the timer is up. And then the last thing that I did is I went up here and I unchecked the troublemaker, which now means everyone is going to a breakout room except that one person who's going to stay in the main room with me, and we can have our one-on-one conversation. And nobody else will know because they think everyone else also ends up in a breakout room. So this is the really cool thing about how you can use these emergency breakout rooms for all kinds of things, right? So let's actually open up the rooms and I'll show you what happens next. All right, now we can see that the breakout rooms are happening and I am back in the Zoom main room where I'm just with the troublemaker. So if I just go down here again and show you the breakout rooms, our happy camper is happy in the breakout room having conversation with somebody invisible, but the troublemaker is here in the main room with me, so we can have a chat, figure things out, calm them down, make sure that they feel seen, that they feel heard. And if whatever reason, like I actually have to do some drastic measures, and this has never happened to me after I actually talk to someone one-on-one, but just in case, this would also be the time where you want to then kick them out of your Zoom meeting. So finding their name in the participants window and then just hitting remove will then ask, this time we're not going to report it because this is just my other device, click remove, and suddenly they are gone, and now you're back here by yourself in the main room and you're just waiting for everyone else to come back in. So that's the really cool thing that you can do with challenging participants, and I talk a lot about how to deal with those types of situations in my virtual facilitator training. That is a 5-week cohort-based training, and if you're interested in that, I'll put a link up here in a video. You can check that out. Also, there's another video that probably already popped up there about how to remove Zoom bombers, like the whole step-by-step instruction, and how to talk your participants through so they feel that you have things in control. All right, what else? Right, first of all, if you're getting any value from this and you want more virtual facilitation tips, make sure you subscribe, and then leave a comment below with what your emergency breakout room question would be. I would love to know, maybe we can create almost a little database, some ideas in the comment thread of this. And before I let you go and show some other videos, other helpful videos on the YouTube screen, I just want to show you what happened the moment all the participants started to come back from the breakout room, because it was just literally, the timing was perfect.
Mr. Worldwide to infinity. You know the roof on fire. We go boogie, hoogie, jiggle, wiggle, and dance like the roof on fire.
May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? We're doing work on the fire alarm system. Please ignore any alarms. This is only a test.
Roof on fire. Tell them, baby, I'm on fire.
So as you can see, it was only a test. It wasn't even a real fire alarm, because if it was a real fire alarm, that would be a whole different story on what I should have done. So if you have any suggestions on what to do if you have a real fire alarm during your Zoom meeting, leave them in the comments below too. All right, here's some other videos that could be exciting for you to watch to learn something new about virtual facilitation, around how to use Zoom and create and facilitate deep connections. Peace out.